Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. For your GMC, we're professional grade.
Good morning and back for another episode of Coffee with Coach Show on a Monday morning, September 29th, getting ready to flip the calendar over to the month of October. I'm Kevin Naro alongside, as always, Coach Dolores Holguin.
Good morning.
Happy Monday, everybody. So the Lady Bloodhounds are now back at home for this week as they wrapped up a long road trip sandwiched in with one match there last Tuesday. Lady Bloodhounds going 1-1 this past week. They did pick up their first district win against St. Anthony's on Tuesday here at home. Just a couple of days ago on Saturday, we were at St. Mary's Hall where we got a little bit of a surprise there with St. Mary's Hall. But
Yeah, definitely.
Recapping the week, starting with the good, and that was our first district win against St. Anthony's. And during the broadcast on Saturday with Regina Garza, we were talking about the competition in the district, and I was talking with some of the kids throughout the week on just how much tougher that this district is. The Lady Bloodhounds did sweep St. Anthony's in straight sets, but just how scrappy were they, St. Anthony's, on Tuesday?
Oh my God, their libero was so stingy.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just really, really good. I thought by far the best libero I've seen so far this season. I think. She just wouldn't let anything drop, and it was like, put the ball somewhere else, and I'd look, and there she was. So it was just they honestly the whole team played really good defense. For that St. Anthony's team, and I thought it was just a very consistent defensive game on their end. So that makes it hard on teams offensively to try to score a point.
And I think we did a pretty good job on matching them defensively.
Yeah, definitely. We played good defense, but we've been pretty steady on defense. I think the whole season. So, it's kind of expected now.
Right. Absolutely. And they were like right in that same sentence with Laredo, because I felt that they lost Laura Sierra last year. She was one of their big middles and one of their big hitters. They were more a defensive team than they were an offensive team. We've seen that with them. We've seen that with Laredo, and then we've seen the other two teams that we played in San Antonio Christian and now St. Mary's, where they're very good defensively, but offensively is what makes that team go.
Yes.
So we've seen just a little bit of a blend. And that makes me wonder what teams think about us, like when they play us, like what's our identity. And I think defensively, like we've said, that it's been a little different this year. That defensively we've really improved this year. But
we've just basically like broadened that defensive strength, because last year, we definitely relied a lot on Carmina as the libero. But I think this year they've just kind of stepped in and done the job. Who's ever back there besides the libero.
Right.
So I think, I mean, you kind of want to be more, I don't know, if evenly, offensively and defensively, if you want to be that way, if you want to be more on one or the other. I think it depends on who you're playing.
Right.
So it's hard to say, oh, I wish we were, stronger in this aspect or stronger in this aspect, because obviously you want to be a well-rounded player, individuals, as well as a well-rounded team.
Yeah, defensively certainly we're
I think a little ahead.
a little, yeah, but offensively too, that there's plenty of times where we see the offense that
Oh,
they
yeah.
can turn it up.
Yeah.
And when they need to get those kills, they can do it, because there's just so many options. There's so many weapons that we have. So yeah, certainly the St. Anthony's game was a plus. Anything else that you saw from that match that you liked?
I think the team our team obviously. I think they kind of clicked a little bit better that day, with the transition from the defense to the offense. I think the passing was pretty good, so that gives us so many options on the offensive end, and so that's always a big plus. Um, Offensively, I mean, wasn't like one person. It was spread out. You know, you
Yeah.
had different people that
Mhm.
contributed and
Right.
you know attributed to points, which
Mhm.
ended up giving us a set or giving us a match.
Right.
So I thought it wasn't like one person.
Mhm.
It was like a
Yeah.
team thing.
Right, right. No, for sure, and that's the thing that, one person can have a big game, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one will pick him up. Whether it's we've seen Sienna, we've seen Gali, Ivania,
Sky.
Sky Hudson on Tuesday. She
Mm-hmm.
had a pretty good game. So
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing everyone just kind of take their turn and kind of just pick each other up,
Mm-hmm.
and and I imagine that's what makes this team hard to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can say watch 20 and watch 7,
Mm-hmm.
but then 12 will come in and make some plays. Sky will come in and make some plays. So
Mm-hmm.
that's always been a positive of this team, is just the depth that they have offensively, and then we already know what we can do defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen like Olivia Wood defensively make plays
Yes.
in the back row. Clara has come a long way.
Mm.
She's
Sophia,
Sophia too.
Gali,
Gali, yeah, yes.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, I kind of wonder, like, when a team comes to
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
like, what are they thinking? What are they seeing? Are they anticipating, big hitters? Are they anticipating, a great defensive team? So I think we're like right,
Mhm.
here. So
It makes
it
you
just
it makes
depends.
it tough to prepare for.
Yeah, it does.
Because then you have Regina Martinez, who
Yeah.
can come in and she can get a couple of quick kills, and
Mhm.
they're loud, and it's like, where'd she come from?
Mhm.
Where
Yeah.
where'd this person come from? So there's a lot of different pieces
Yeah.
that can certainly come off. But I know one thing for sure is that they know is that they're gonna get a pretty good defensive team,
Mhm.
that it's gonna be very hard to get the ball down.
Yeah.
Middle of the week, we get the win against St. Anthony's, first district win. That has to feel good. A much needed district win.
Yeah, I think the kids felt good about it.
Mhm.
I think they felt good about it, and I kind of mentioned, like, the monkey off our back, and
Mhm.
somebody was like, "Where's the what monkey?" And I was like, "It just means you won a match."
It's a figure of speech.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech. Then we started talking about figures of speech and all these
Yeah.
other things that
Yeah.
you say,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was a good win. It was a good win. It was, I always tell the team, I was like, don't take anybody lightly,
Right.
because anybody can come back, and if you have a bad game, anybody can come in and
Right.
can be, it can be
Right.
perfect example. Victoria, comes to us, and
Mhm.
um, and I've just always, felt like you have to play at your level every single game.
Right.
You might have to change certain aspects of the game if you're like, when we went to sacks and, block, 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 and you have to change the offensive
Mhm.
aspect, as far as you can't be swinging into the block if we can't pick it up. You've got to change it and do something else. And we did a little bit of it on Saturday,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. And I want to get into Saturday, because
Yeah.
that was a heck of a match.
Yeah.
I mean, Lady Bloodhounds did fall in 3 sets, but if you watch the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
That was kind of the wild card going into the season.
Mhm.
Knowing that we're going to be competing for a playoff spot.
Mhm.
We knew Laredo's always there,
Mhm.
Sax and Victoria, and you can just kind of on paper say, okay, well, these are the 4 teams that are going to
Mhm.
be gunning for a playoff spot. Last year St. Anthony's made a run to the
Mhm.
end. St. Mary's was tough.
Mhm.
We went to 5
5
with
with
them
them.
in San Antonio,
Mhm.
but this was a completely different St.
Two.
Mary's team, and I thought they were very impressive. What were your thoughts?
Definitely impressive.
Mhm.
Definitely impressive. I was just like, okay, I've never seen her before, or her, or her, or her,
Yep.
and it was like the outside, the middle, and the right side,
Yeah.
and very, very impressive players, no, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I know the middle is a junior. I don't know about the other two, but we hit first, and then normally I've always had them behind the opposing team. doing some kind of a defensive, digging and stuff like that. Well, I can't hit a ball anymore. So, but they've started to where they want. It's been a while back. Can we just watch them hit so we know where they're hitting? So I just let it go. Okay. So when they're standing there watching, she hit a couple of those balls. Those three hit a couple of those balls, and I saw some eyes kind of get a little bit big, and I said, okay. And then I saw her hit it again. Okay, she's consistent. But I told them, I said, you saw what she did. You saw how she hit. You saw exactly where she hit. So can you dig that ball? That's a very diggable ball. On the outside hitter, hitting that angle, in the middle hitting that angle, and on the right side hitting that cross. And I just told them, like, this is where you have to stand. This is where you have to stand. And they knew it, but it's still intimidating when you see somebody put down a ball like that.
Yeah, but the good thing is that we've already seen it, and
Yeah.
that's when the Harlingens, and Los Fresnos of the world, that's where it comes into play. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's nothing that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and you haven't played against, so it should be like, okay, I got this, rather than, oh my God,
Yeah, yeah. But the first set, it was 31-29, and I mean that was as good a set as we've seen all year. And just to gauge it for you at home, we talked about it late in the week. I think I called you when I was just doing my homework for the game. I was like, they're 4-0. Okay, they beat Providence. Okay, they beat St. Anthony's. Okay, ooh, they beat Laredo. They swept Laredo. Okay, oh, they swept Saks.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here?
yeah,
We were the closest team to St. Mary's all year. They haven't lost a set in already a month. Against Laredo, it was 25-15, 25-18. Against Saks, it was 25-21, 25-21, and then like 25-19. We took them 31-29 in that first set. So just to kind of get an idea on where we're at, we're right
there.
right up there with
Right
them. And I just felt that last year, and I said it when I was on the air, that I just brought back the Harlingen memories, that we just kept going and going into the 30s, and you just kind of feel that if we took that first set,
It would have changed the outcome.
It may have changed the outcome because the thing is that team, like I said, they haven't lost. They've won 10 in a row now. They haven't lost a set in a month. For them to give them a little adversity, sometimes when you do that to those teams, they don't know how to respond to that kind of adversity. That's how I felt after that first set.
Yeah. No, I felt the same way. I felt like if we would have taken that first set, we would have been a different outcome. Because then they would have had to say, whoa, what just happened,
Right.
But we made a couple of errors that were very costly. And so that, sometimes when a player makes an error like that, they know, like, you're at game point or you're at the point before game point and you make an error, it's like, I think they mentally really beat themselves up. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them do. And it takes longer to come back to, all right, I'm here and I've got this. But yeah, definitely, I thought we were going to take that first one.
I thought so too, and and just kind of just back and forth. There were so many plays, and there were so many digs that our girls were able to dig up, and we were ready. We were showing them up in that first set in every good way possible.
Yeah, because I think in that first set, I remember. I mean, it's so many plays, but I remember Gali really digging up some really good balls, and we got a play out of it. We were able to swing again.
Yep.
And at the end of that first set, when I grabbed my lineup, there's just a lot of things going through my head. But I said, I want to put them on the court exactly like we were. And somebody was asking me questions, and I'm trying to do this, and the officials are going like, "You got a minute, you got a minute," and I'm like, "Oh, I can't think," And it was my mess up. I had Millie in, but then I had a hitter in, and I wrote 14. I meant to write was 4, because that was Mariana in the back, and so when that happened. And then Melly was getting her ankle because she said, "Coach, my ankle's really bothering me." And I didn't get it taped. So I was like, "Do it right now." Well, 3 minutes between sets. So by the time the trainer came over and stuff, it was like the game starting. So I'm like, just Melly, get on the court. She's like, I'm not that. I said, just get on the court, I'll do the libero, and then we'll go. And then it was like right away we had a side out, so we were rotating up, and I'm like, and she's like, I'm not that. I said, I was like, oh Lord, what did I do? I really messed up this lineup at the beginning, and I think that kind of in their heads, that kind of was like, oh geez, here we go.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just feel like this team should be able to and can regroup pretty quickly and get back in stride with, where they were.
Right.
And I just, we had a couple of serve receive errors, right there at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like the server from, who was it that served like crazy at us? Laredo? No, I can't remember who it was. They had a really, really good server. And it was like, to me, I was like, oh no, this deja vu, this server is serving like this. And, I think Gladham had a serving receiver, and then somebody else. It was like 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think they started out 5-1.
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah,
4-0, something
yeah,
like
it
that.
was like 3 or 4 points, and it was, on serve receive. So,
They were strong in the serve receive,
Yeah.
and that's ultimately what I mean. They played a big factor.
Yeah.
Their serve receive, it was on point.
Yeah.
Sydney Suttles, number 7. That she was their lefty.
Yes.
That was another factor. That
Yes.
she was a lefty.
Yeah. And it happened in the third set too, because I remember, I think I put whoever was in for Glad, I put them back in, and coming off the court, she said, "I can't read that serve," and I said, "Is it a float? Is it a topspin? What is it?" She said, "I can't tell what it is," and then in the third set, she said it again, and so I think Gali and I were talking about it after the game, and she said it wasn't a topspin serve. She said it had a weird spin, and I said, "Was it a side spin?" She said, "Yes, it was going like spinning like this way." So if you didn't catch it just in the middle of your platform, it was just a little off, it was going to be gone, because that's the rotation it was going. And it had a lot to do with that left, because that's what the spin was. She wasn't doing this. She was doing a little bit of this. And it really was it was a very effective serve, obviously, to score that many points on just that.
Yeah, on an aces. That sounds, because I'm a lefty myself, and of course, lefties, you have that natural curveball when you pitch. So that's interesting, because I was wondering the same, and Reggie Garza was sitting with me pregame watching them warm up, and right away she's like, "Kevin, she's a lefty, and look at her serves." And she noticed that too, on how she had a different spin to her serve. I told you, I said, hey, we after the game, I go, we got better today. And if you believe in moral victories, this is one of them, because our on the blocks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing that Reggie and I were talking about during the game, was that the Sox game, that was a big factor, and it made the difference. But on Saturday, our blocking, Melly,
Melly.
Sienna had a couple good blocks up front. I mean, just the blocking game itself, it really.
We definitely had those.
improved.
Definitely were pluses for us on Saturday. Was the block, and I had it on Friday at practice. We didn't swing much because I knew I needed to give them a little bit of break. We did a lot of pushing and stuff, but we had worked on blocking on Thursday and Friday. And I actually decided I'd put Millie in the middle. And, she was blocking everybody. Even if it wasn't a full attack, it was like she was there and she was blocking everything. So when I was going like, okay, who am I putting where? And I was trying to figure out where I needed to put her. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and start her. And I'm gonna have her go over to the right, because I knew they were going to have a strong outside hitter. Hindsight, I probably would have left her on the left to block that lefty,
Mhm.
and I thought about moving her to the middle
Mhm.
to try to block that middle hitter. But now I know.
Right.
But she's definitely, and I mentioned to her mom. I said, "Hey, she's really like all of a sudden it's like she just woke up and she's like an animal at the net on that block." We did have a couple of blocking errors, right at the end of that third set, but the ball was set so outside, and she was there and she was getting a block. But if the middle doesn't go, uh, then we're missing half of it.
Right.
Of course, if the ball is pretty far out and the middle's not going, she should be dropping back on defense so that we have more coverage. But what happens is in volleyball, what happens is if you as a player know that the block is there and you're gonna get stuffed or whatever, you use that blocks. So you could tell that the girl was not swinging here. The girl was swinging more here, so that the block was gonna go out on our side. And that's how they scored a couple. I think there was at least two on that. And I told Melly, you're okay. You just have to make sure that you're completely turned like this. So your angle of your hands needs to point to the middle of the court rather than out. Sometimes we're late, and when we come around and stop here rather than coming all around and stopping here. And those are just little things, little things that we can work on in practice. But also, like I said, hindsight, I had her only in the middle at practice. I didn't put her on the sides.
Yep.
But now we know.
Yeah. Right.
So, and now we know that she can definitely do the job.
Right.
Because in practice, what I did was I had her go middle and I had Gali go outside. And it worked, pretty well. So, and I kind of think I don't know if I switched them once or not, but no, because they weren't up there but one rotation. So, but yeah, definitely our blocking was better. Gali got a few. Sienna got a few in the third set.
Those were awesome.
In the third set,
Against,
The
Jordan Taylor.
yeah,
11.
the middle, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was fun to watch them two in the front row just blocking
Yeah,
each
because
other.
I think they blocked and she blocked and
Yeah.
she hit and then she hit and she blocked and then she hit, and it was all just in a span of
a couple of seconds. Yeah.
basically one play.
Yeah.
One play.
Yeah.
I don't remember who scored the point. Did we?
I think we split. I know we got one.
We got
I know
one.
They
and
got
they
one.
got one.
Yeah, because there was a couple battles in that front row.
Yeah.
That was just really good, really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, that team's
They're good.
good. I mean,
They're good.
when I saw Sachs the first time, I said, that might be the best team in the district. And when I saw them, I was like, well, now I have to really sit down and look at it because, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna come down to the end of the season because Saxon.
Yeah.
I mean, Victoria and St. Mary's play on Tuesday.
Well,
Tomorrow.
That'll be fun.
They play
do
each
you know where
other.
that one's at?
I looked at it yesterday. I want to say it's at Victoria.
At Victoria. Let me see. I have it right here. Yeah. No. The district is it's just as competitive as any, and we've seen a lot.
I think this is the most. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. I see.
They're at Victoria.
They're at Victoria. Yeah. I see. When I think about the games, I see a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, but they all come together, and I'm like, oh my god. But
That's because we don't exactly know what Victoria has back, or I haven't done any homework.
oh,
yet
well,
on
I know
Victoria.
they had a couple of transfers. They did have a couple. I don't know if it was 3 or 4, because I kept seeing them because I get those.
Right.
But I don't get them for the other schools. I only get them when Victoria gets them. I don't know why. But they're always going to be tough.
Yeah.
They're always going to be tough.
Yeah.
So-
And they're gonna come in here on Thursday with a little gusto, knowing that
Oh,
the
yeah.
last time they were here, we were
Yeah.
able to take it to them.
Yeah.
That was certainly a lot of fun.
And I know the kids keep asking if we're going to be able to play in the dome. We need to play our games in the dome, 'cause, it's not going to happen. So, unfortunately,
So the Lady Bloodhounds will be back at home this week as they begin their first long homestand of the season. We just wrapped up the week that was with the St. Anthony's match and the St. Mary's Hall match. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Providence match and preview the Victoria match. When we come back, this is Coffee with Coach O.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. For your GMC, we're professional grade.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs.
Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate, call us now.
The middle, Benson! That's another touchdown! Keeps the line. Now that becomes a hit. And that's going to be a fumble recovered by the Cardinals.
Cameron County has emerged as one of the most promising regions in Texas. Our property tax rate is among the lowest in the RGV. Our communities are safer. Economic development is soaring. Thousands of high-paying jobs have been created. Let's keep Eddie Trevino as our Cameron County judge.
At Tortilleria Ibañez, flavor starts fresh every day. Crispy flautas, homemade tamales, and our signature chicken salad, all made for you. Tortilleria Ibañez, tradition on every plate.
Hello sports fans, I'm Jason Starkey with Gallery Homes.
Here at Gallery, we make building your new home simple and stress-free. From sales to selections, we handle every step so you can enjoy the journey to your new home. This is Gallery, where your dreams become reality.
Graduation time. Time to make some decisions. What's next? Can I afford to continue my education? What are my options? At Brownsville ISD Career and Technical Education, you can graduate from high school with a certificate and or license ready to go to work, debt-free. We have a wide range of programs for every student ranging from audiovisual, law enforcement, STEM robotics, electrical, welding, pharmacy, patient care tech, and many more to choose from. That's why Brownsville ISD is the best choice.
There's no place like Sherryland ISD. Returning students need to district work here, learn here, or tuition-based enrollment. Register now. Call 956-584-6408. Sherryland ISD. Excellence is our tradition.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
Cameron County has emerged as one of the most promising regions in Texas. We're experiencing unprecedented growth. New infrastructure projects are being developed. We're a leader in spaceflight research and have become an energy export powerhouse. Let's keep Eddie Trevino as our Cameron County judge.
At Tortilleria Ibanez, flavor starts fresh every day. Crispy flautas, homemade tamales, and our signature chicken salad, all made for you. Tortilleria Ibanez, tradition on every...
Welcome back to Coffee with Coach O. I'm Kevin, that's Coach O. We are live in the Bloodhound Cafe on a Monday morning. As always, a special thank you to Miss Amanda for hosting us every Monday morning at 10 a.m. So the Lady Bloodhounds going into this week, 1-3 in district. Can you believe that Thursday against Victoria we'll have wrapped up the first round of district play?
Nope. It's been pretty quick.
It's gone by very quick.
Yeah, it's been very quick.
It's gone by as fast as, as fast can go. And I feel that we're always having that conversation every year with any team. I mean, football, we're going into week 6.
Yeah.
And that's because those boys they've had 2 scrimmages before the regular season, and then they had 2-a-days before that.
Yeah.
So the school year is certainly going by a little quick. We're heading into the month of October already.
I mean, it's, what are we, the 29th, when it's the 1st? Well, the 2nd is Thursday, so Wednesday.
Wednesday is October 1st.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we started volleyball August
4th, yeah.
4th.
The first Monday.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
2
crazy.
months?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone pretty quick.
2 months into the season, yeah. So
It's like I just woke up yesterday and it was August 2nd. Now it's almost October 2nd.
yeah. Well, the Roma game was the first match of the year.
It feels like a long time ago, but it was
It does feel like a while back,
right.
The Roma game, the first game of the year. Then you throw in, the Donna tournament was early in the year. So, and even cross country, they have their time trials this weekend. They're gearing up for district a lot sooner rather than later. They just came off the Meet of Champs, and football again. They're back home this week, Friday. They were on a three-game road trip. So I know Coach Tino and the boys, they're excited to be home, just like the girls. They were like, finally.
Yeah, I know.
Tuesday we could play at home, but then we could back on the road on Saturday.
For
last week.
Oh yeah,
last week. Last week they were excited to be back home.
Oh yeah.
And then they're
yeah,
like,
because
well,
we were like away.
Yeah. So again, the Lady Bloodhounds are going to enjoy a nice homestand, starting tomorrow against San Antonio Providence, and then they'll wrap up the week on Thursday, not Saturday. The match will be on Thursday here at home against Victoria St. Joe. So, we're fixing to wrap up the first week, or excuse me, the first round of district play, and sitting at 1-3, and Providence tomorrow, Victoria on Thursday. What's the approach this week?
Well, well, obviously, I think from the losses that we've had, I think I've learned a little bit of how we need to approach, and I think we need to just go out there, just full 100%, full throttle, no holds barred, because we can't mess around and take chances on any team, on any game. And I think if we just go out like we did, against St. Mary's, that first set, and just, it's got to be a no quit attitude. And I think if we can do that, we'll be ahead. So, and I think, that seeing that how we played on Saturday against a strong offensive team, and keeping up with them, basically, even though they got so many kills on us, with those, especially the middle and the outside. I think if we can, make that adjustment like we are able to and we know to, it just has to become an thing, like you can't think about it. It just has to be done. And we'll work on little things today. Not, we're not going to obviously do a real intense workout today, but they're just the little things, just adjusting the block a little bit more, like we were talking about earlier, adjusting the positioning of the defensive player and stuff. Obviously, I have no idea what Providence is going to bring to us. So we have to prepare like you would for a strong offensive team. And I think if we can do that, we'll be okay. It's going to be a matter of, my thought has always been the team that makes the least errors is going to be the one that comes out on top. And so we need to try to avoid making those what I call unforced errors. The missed serve, the defensive dig that what position you're supposed to be in, and if you're there, you're gonna get it. And I think more than anything else, it's gonna be really mental for us, just because I don't know that they think about it when they get on the court, but we're winning. We've lost. They don't look at that we won and we played this really good team well on Saturday. That to me, it's not a. I mean, obviously it's not a win, but we didn't go out there and get slaughtered. You know what I mean? So I think their thinking needs to be, we can do this. Right. We can play, if we can play somebody like that, right, how we played them, then we can do this, no matter who, we're playing.
Right, absolutely, and that's what I think I've told you, that I think after the Los Fresnos match, I was like, this team is due an upset. Mm-hmm. We're fixing to sneak up on someone, and I don't even want to say sneak up because, but we're putting the pieces together, and as we get to the halfway point, whether this team is 2-4 or 3-3, when we get there, the halfway point, then you start counting down the games. Mm-hmm. Then you start looking at the playoff picture and where we're at. Obviously we're not going to get into that just yet. It's a long way to go. But once you get to that point, you start counting those games. You start counting the matches, and you start scoreboard watching. But with that being said, I think this team, the good thing is that we've yet to peak. Yeah. And that's always a good thing. Mm-hmm. You don't want to peak too soon. You want to peak at the right time. Mm-hmm. A lot like last year. Mm-hmm. A lot like last year down the stretch. You and I sat here and we're like, okay, there's 3 games left, but it's playoff mode. And I really felt that Victoria match here was a playoff game.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
It was a playoff game.
Definitely.
So they wound up beating Victoria. We went on the road at Cyprus, beat Cyprus in 5 sets. We went on that nice little playoff run, but it'll be here sooner than later.
Yeah.
But certainly, I think this team, again, in spite of the loss on Saturday, I think that was the first thing I told you. We got better today.
Yeah.
This team got better today, and I think that they got some confidence going with them. And with teams, games like tomorrow, you feel that you're favorable. No disrespect to anybody, but you put yourselves in these positions. You win the games you're supposed to win, and then you just roll the dice and see what happens on Thursday.
Yeah.
Victoria could have a bad day.
Anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have bad juju coming down here.
Yeah.
Who knows? So like I said, I think this team's due for an upset, and we know it's in there for them to do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we're getting better and better and better. And you're seeing, the rotations flow. You're seeing the communication flow. So we're kind of getting out of the woods when it was kind of looking grim with, the Los Fresnos loss, the Harlingen loss, the Laredo loss was a gut punch.
Yeah.
But even not going back too much to the St. Mary's game, but they I talked to Tino after the game and I said, hey man, I go, we lost, but the fight they showed, the fight, the resiliency that they just weren't going to go away. They fought all through those 3 sets, and again, if they win that first set, who knows? But I think there was a lot of positive coming out of Saturday and going into this week.
Yeah, definitely, there was a lot of positive, and and like you say, you win that first one, is just
who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
And I think if the kids understand that and realize that and hear that, often, like more times than just once, I think they'll start to think the same way. Because I think some of them do, but not all of them, and it just comes with experience, really. The fact that Clara's new at the libero position, and she's done a really good job, and Sophia has had her moments too, and done a good job. I just have to, I just tell her, you in your head have to tell yourself, I can do this. Because I know how it feels. I've been on the court before, and I know how it feels. Like you get a bullet served at you, and you're like, oh my God, please don't serve to me anymore. And it's funny because, we had our Hannah alumni game early in the season, and of course I'm the oldest player. I'm the very first volleyball alumni because that's when volleyball started at Hannah in the Lower Valley. And so they were like, we'll just let you play. We'll just let you serve, and then we'll take you off. And then I was like, well, I mean, I know I'm old, but I think I can pass the ball. And so the kids served at me, and I'm right there, and that ball just came kind of like that kind of floater, and it was gone. And I was like, okay. And they're like, do you want to come on? I said, give me another one. And I passed the next two, and I was like, okay, I can come off now. But you have to, in your head, and I know they're kids and I'm an adult, but in your head, you have to be able to say, you know what, that's gone. I'm done with that one. Give me the next one. It's like if you're batting, and they throw a strike, you're not going to say, oh God, you're going to say, come on,
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
For sure.
So.
Shout out to the subs, the sub varsity. I was joking with Miranda and the JV. I go, hey, congrats, y'all didn't go to 3 sets today. And they're like, I know we didn't go to 3 sets.
Yeah,
like we did it.
Yeah, I heard you tell her that.
We did it. We swept. So they're 4-0.
Yeah, they're 4-0.
The freshman team picked up a gritty win in 3 sets. So there's a lot of positive. They're a fun group to watch.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they just play with no pressure, I think.
Yeah.
They just play.
Yeah.
They just go out there and play, which is kind of what we would do. But, I mean, it's different. Varsity levels, totally different
for sure.
thing. But, there is a lot more pressure. But I still wish, kids would just go out there and just play.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tell them, don't think. I don't want you to think.
Yeah.
I just want you to play.
Yep.
So,
for sure.
but yeah, they're doing really well. I think I wrote an announcement last. I finally had time. I was finally rested enough to write an announcement and send it in about about all of them. The middle school. I did the whole thing. I did middle school. I did freshman JV. I did varsity.
Yep.
So
Shout out to the middle schools team as well. They competed this past weekend at our OLS. So.
It was a crazy tournament. I mean, like for them to get finished at midnight in the championship match, that's being there at 8 o'clock in the morning. But they did well. The 7th graders took the 3rd place trophy, and the 8th graders played for 3rd, but lost in 3 sets. So and they lost to, they lost to the team that won the tournament. Correct? Yes. So they were right there. So.
All right. Well, shout out to all of our volleyball squads. Does junior high? What's their schedule this week?
They're off this week. They have their last match next Wednesday.
Here at home.
The 8th grade will play here at home, and the 7th grade will be at Garcia Middle School. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, the match day is tomorrow here against San Antonio Providence. You have the game times on that?
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4 right here in the Student Center. Again, we encourage everybody to come on out and support the Lady Bloodhounds as they are beginning a homestand this week and next week. Thursday, they'll be back here at home against Victoria St. Joe.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. And then next week, the Lady Bloodhounds will host. We restart the second round of district against Sacs, and then against Laredo. So plenty of opportunities for the community and the parents and the fans to come out and support the Lady Bloodhounds right here at home. If you can't make it, of course, we have you. We got your back on the Bloodhound channel. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the parents. We've had a lot of good home crowds.
We have
parents travel.
Yes.
The Sacs game, the Laredo game, and on Saturday, we've had a lot of parents travel.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like I see them when they come in. And I don't really see them when I'm coaching because I'm focused on the court. But Saturday I remember distinctly hearing them.
Yeah, they were all to my left. All of our peeps
I
were to our
I
left
remember
and
hearing them.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
It helps. It
Yeah,
helps.
it
It helps.
does.
It helps.
It helps the kids,
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps them motivate them
Mhm.
and fire them up. So yeah, a special shout out to all the parents who make that rigorous road trip all the way up to San Antonio, right behind us. So again, match day tomorrow against Providence, and then we'll wrap up the week with Victoria St. Joe on Thursday, all here at home. Coach, any final thoughts before I let you go?
No, just, we're going to prepare tonight and start the week with a W. We're going to work for that W tomorrow, so.
Absolutely. That's Coach Dolores Holguin, Kevin Naro. Again, a special thank you to Miss Amanda for opening her doors here every Monday morning at the Bloodhound Cafe. This has been Coffee with Coach O. We'll see you guys next week.
Elevation, AT4